Hey guys, it's Crowbar Zero, and today I'm gonna cover kind of what is the new meta as far as farming. What are people gonna be doing to get as many coin gains as they possibly can? And with the introduction of elite enemies, for the most part, I'm thinking that infinite runs are dead at this point. And I'll go into the reasons why, but the main reason is just the Atlantic enemies. They're immune to black hole, they're immune to knockback, yeah, they're slow, oh, and they're immune to orbs. So all the traditional tools that we would use to, try to exploit to, kill the normal enemies, now they're replaced with elite enemies. The bonus is the elite enemies are going to drop cells, which are going to speed up our labs. So overall, I think it's still a win. Um, it's kind of a mixed. I'm not making as many coins now, but I would rather have the cells to help speed up my labs. I'm happy with that trade-off. But anyway, let's get into it. So you can see I'm kind of running it right now. My coin fluctuates quite a bit. Part of that is because I'm using wave skip. I'm also using wave acceleration so that I can get as many packages as I possibly can. Right now I'm running it on 5 times game speed, just because I want a little bit more focus and making sure I'm killing as many enemies as possible. So, i.e. a coin focused run. Versus if I wanted more cells, I'd probably pump that up to 6.3. That's totally up to you. Everyone's playing this a little bit different. Yeah, so I'm going to go into all the stats here that I have devoed, and I just kind of run through it. So as you can see, my damage is max, my critical factor is max. I do have a little bit of critical chance, because literally I got home for lunch, and I was starting to take damage. And so when you start taking damage, that's when you're going to start undevoing, or, undevolving your stats. So originally I would start at 1% crit. I added the crit card, and right now we are sitting at a 22%. Eventually I will, expand that out as the run goes on. And the more you're able to feather this as you increase in the waves, the better off this is going to be. Attack speed, you can see my attack speed, I'm actually running on the lower side. I'm going to pull up the stats now. Current level is 0 out of 99. The only reason I have it at this point is because of max attack speed labs, and I have ancestral attack speed. So you can just leave that. Later in the run, you can increase that. I've increased it up to, was it 16? I think it's kind of where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to expand it anymore. Crit. So when do I start introducing crit? So I guess the really nice rule is when you first start taking like a little bit of damage. That's probably like, okay, maybe I'll start thinking about it. Increase in increments of 1, and then 2, and then 5 at a time. Slot in the the crit card in there towards the end. I'm kind of doing a little bit of lazier side, so I just plop the crit card from the get-go. But ideally, it's just like you're feathering this as you go along. And where are you feathering it? So right now, the focus is going to be spotlight missiles, which I have the lab cooldown maxed out. So I'm getting 1 spotlight missile. I believe it's 1 every 2 seconds. It's going to be plopping out one of those. So you want several modifiers going on. Obviously GT or GT plus. You want that active. You want black hole active. If you can kill them in spotlight, that's another modifier. Obviously, another modifier on top of that is going to be Coinbot. And then on top of that, if somehow you were able to kill something with Death Wave, then congrats, you have another multiplier on top of that. Death Wave, especially later waves, is not going to be reliable. But you really don't want to be killing enemies outside of the spotlight. and you don't want to be killing enemies with your bullets, and hence that's why the attack speed is on the lower end. Right now, so I am running 56 meter range. It can kind of vary, but the big thing is, as enemies go farther into the waves, they're going to be moving a lot faster, and so you might have to expand that out. And you also have to expand it out for inner landmine if you take the perk for that. So in the start of the run, I might actually not even run with inner landmines on. I'll just keep it off, and then later in the run, I'll turn them on. For other stats, I devoed damage per meter. Part of that is, again, I don't want to be doing bullet damage, or as little as possible. This is going to keep that down. Same thing with your multi-shot, your rapid fire, your bounce chance, and then your rend. Your rend you want to keep really low too. And this also plays a role as in terms of when you're getting into tournaments, you don't want to be running enemies to death. You really want to wait for those death waves to go off so that you can, really maximize on the death wave health bonus. And speaking of that, you are partially going to be, this is going to be a hybrid build, so occasionally you are going to take hits. And generally, the two biggest sources of hits that you're going to be taking are likely going to be rays and likely going to be from the shattered enemies. My biggest thing, actually later in the run, and you might see it here because we've got two of them here, they'll hit and sometimes they'll spawn beyond the wall, and sometimes beyond the wall will mean right up to your tower. Kind of sucks when they do that. But there's nothing as far as I can do as far as like a glass cannon build that can really reliably help minimize that. So you want to have some hit points just to be able to soak that damage when that happens. Going into health regen, and your health are going to be really good. And I'll go into health regen a little bit later on. Right now, I don't have room to slot in that defense percent card, and I really, really want it. So I'm gonna have to get that last slot that we just, got those extra slots. I want to get that last slot so I can get that card in. So I've got room for improvement on this build, and that's about taking the enemy attacks down to half. So I think that's quite a little bit of growth room that I've got here. Lifesteal, Thorns, you can have that maxed. Knockback chance, you're not really relying on your bullets nearly as much. You really don't need that, and generally knockback force and or chance, you want devoed so that when you're in tournaments, and again you're doing normal devo to collect as many hit points as you can, you're probably not going to want your knockback force really high up. Orb speed, you're not running any orbs, so you can have that at whatever you want. And then orbs, as you can see, is I don't have any running right now. And again, I don't want orbs stealing kills that are outside of my spotlight. Shockwave size, right now I have it at 2.15. I could have it higher, but I really don't need it so that I'm pushing enemies out. I just kind of have it at there as just, yeah. It's not a big deal if you do have it pumped up, but that's what I currently have. You arguably could have a better results with less, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Landmine chance. Landmines. You do not want landmines again stealing kills from your spotlight. So you're going to, let's see if I get shot by this ray here. Oh, no, I killed the ray. Awesome. As I said, sometimes I get shot by rays. It's, how fast can I kill everyone else along the way? But sometimes I do get hit with rays. Landmine chance, you're going to want a 0. Everything else you can pretty much max out. You're going to be getting hit every now and then, so I just maximize my wall rebuild. At this point, I'm not getting killed by bosses, I'm getting killed by shatters. So they come whenever they come, and there's no amount of wall timing that I can currently do that would really help me beyond just maximizing the refresh on that. When it comes to your utility, I don't have anything into any of my free ups currently. I will use those for tournaments as soon as I am done. Oh, and you can see that I did take a hit from a shattered, even though I'm just rocking these enemies world. But yeah, I will use free ups during tournaments, and they're super helpful after I get through the whole Devo process. But during farming, no go on any of the free ups. And you can tell at this point I've been able to max out what I can of both of the enemy level skips. So going into perks, we'll take a look at the perks I grabbed. Obviously I have a bunch of perks that I could grab, and I'm not going to grab any of them, because orbs are going to steal kills. Chrono field radius, you want everything in your black hole, in your spotlight, and slowing down enemies before they can enter that is not going to be really beneficial for me. If anything, it's just going to help enemies spawn farther away and take longer time to get killed. So I'm definitely not going to be taking that. There was some things about possibly some of the boss stats being applied to some of the elite enemies. I don't know what's going on with that, so right now I'm just not taking those. I'm not going to touch that. I did take Swamp Radius. This is probably the last perk that you want to grab. Interest is not going to really do anything, neither is landmine damage because we're not using landmines. Health regen, once I get my fortified wall up to a higher level, a bunch of the health regen is actually going to apply to my wall health. Same thing here, defense, health, all of that's going to be super helpful there. Bounce doesn't do anything. If anything, you would want to possibly take this to help thin out the pool of commons that you can take. And lowering speed, blah, 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 blah. I gotta go through this fast because I really don't have much time. And of course, your main goal is to get perk wave requirements as soon as possible. I'm just gonna go through ultimate weapons really fast. I've got chain lightning turned off, smart missiles turned off. Later in the run, I will turn on chain lightning just to help give that little bit of a bonus on everyone. But if it has to be at a point where it's not going to be killing enemies. I will turn it on right now because I'll be leaving pretty soon for work. Poison Swamp, you're also going to want to, for the most part, keep that off. You're always going to make sure that you're keeping the stun off, but later in the run, you can turn Poison Swamp on just so that you can start making sure that Harmony Conductor is allowing applying that mischance to everyone who's poisoned. Modules. So pretty typical stuff with death penalty, galaxy compressor. You're going for attack speed on this. Your Rens, and I have crit factor were the big four for me. You want more coin, you want more enemy health level skips, and package chance. I got some pretty good stuff on this one, so we're going to take a look at this. Defy Death, that's helpful. Wall Rebuild, that's helpful. But the big thing, like the most important thing that you're going to want on this is going to be that health regen. If you have this at Ancestral, all you need is that health regen. That's going to be really, really helpful to keep you alive. And to some extent, also the wall rebuild. Moving on to Harmony Connector, obviously I wish that I had this at Ancestral, but the big things that I'd be looking forward to is making sure that my Spotlight is maxed out at plus 15 at Ancestral. Spotlight bonus will help increase, kind of give that wider chunk of time away so that you know, your bullets aren't killing things as much before you need to start pumping your damage up. Just makes it easier overall in the run. Golden Tower duration and bonus are going to be really helpful as far as getting bonuses during your kills. And that's kind of what I'm rolling with now. Obviously, not the best of the best, and there's some corners that you can cut, especially with Wormhole Redirector. If you do have this Ancestral and health regen is up there, that will make things so if you get hit, you regenerate your health with all the packages relatively quickly. Anyway, I think that about covers it. Here, I'll just show the cards really fast. In the beginning of the run, I'm not going to be using critical chance. I'll be using cash instead. And then once I can't really use cash as much, then that's when I plug in the critical chance. I'm just going to plug through here so you can see all the cards I've got. Some of these could probably sub out, like Tower, Super Tower, probably don't require that as much. And there's probably some optimizations that I can make, such as you know, maybe I should take out Nuke and put in extra defense instead. Other than that, I think that about covers it for now. I hope you guys found it informative. It really helps to have ancestral mods, but not everyone has that. So do the best that you can with what you've got. Holy crap, 190 billion a minute. Whoo! That's smoking. And you're going to watch that drop here in just a moment because I'm about to go to work. And this is how you shoot your coin gains in the foot. 200! Oh, man! Oh, that's nuts. Okay, anyway, I will catch you guys later. Wow, that's a personal best.